What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Moose Preparedness. I am Moose. So yeah, 2 days into the new year, we already got craziness happening, right? We got some jackass doing some horrific things down in New Orleans, and another one who tried to make a name for himself out in Las Vegas. Both of them at the expense of innocent people. Both of them with ties to the military, to varying capacities, and then, both of them being most likely labeled a terrorist incident. So, I wanted to kind of go into it with this thought in mind. As we look out towards the new year, a lot of folks are upset with how the election went. A lot of folks are upset about how just things in general are going. There's a lot of disenfranchisement, and I think that we're going to see a lot more things like this. And I'm not giving those words power, nor do I want that to happen. I absolutely abhor hurting of innocent civilians. I think it's horrific, and it's doubly worse whenever it's done in the name of the stupid stuff that they were trying for. So the one down in Louisiana reportedly had a flag of a terrorist organization that I absolutely helped put some boots on necks for. Absolutely. Let's just say I was over overseas at the time, and I was able to try and nip some of that in the bud. Didn't really take, because you can be radicalized anywhere. But that stuff disgusts me to a whole new level, because I thought that I took care of a lot of that problem over there, and now we can see it's on the home front here, right? The other one in front of the Trump building, you got to be a certain kind of stupid to want to do that, or to try it with a truck that's designed around solid steel frame and exterior. But that was, in my opinion, wholeheartedly political, because two people who are very prevalent, right? Both Trump and Musk. Let's do a symbol of both. The lithium-ion battery. Lithium-ion's pretty bad stuff. But when you look at it over across the board, I think that we're going to see a lot more of those kind of attacks. Why? Well, for one, there's a lot of people who have been radicalized, or a lot of people who feel disenfranchised with, as I said, with how the election went. And a lot of those people are going to start acting out in desperation the closer we get, or after we go. So that's one. Two, there's some nation-state actors who have been sending their bad people and or people trained by them, in my opinion. Again, this is nothing that I've read classified-wise, because I refuse to give that information out. I did actually sign one of those oaths, and I do uphold it. But let's just say, if you will, a bunch of military-age males coming across a border that is largely unguarded, and forming small cells all around the nation, and with ease of access to picking up firearms or other types of weapons or explosives, that kind of stuff. We would be idiots to think that they are not here just waiting for a time and place, right? So China, Xi Jinping, he announced that there will be nothing stopping the reunification of Taiwan, I think on New Year's Day or somewhere close around there. So what a great distraction. Activate a whole bunch of people to wreak havoc in a homeland of a country would defend against it, is most likely your biggest threat, to cause distractions, to cause the U.S. to use their forces, time, energy, money locally versus watching over where I'm doing, or he's going to be doing some things, you know what I mean? So distract you over here, so that way you can't see, you're not paying attention over here. Additionally, there's a lot of folks who would really love to see the U.S. fail, especially underneath the current administration that's coming in. So I can foresee that there are people who would have absolutely no issues doing that, and either blaming folks across the border. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. So what does that mean for you? Well, look, you can only control what you can control, right? There's not a lot that you can do to affect geopolitics. There's not a lot you can do to affect the border. There's not a lot you can do to affect, these terroristic nut jobs that are doing these horrific things. But there are some things that you personally can do. A lot of vets, including myself, when we came back from overseas, really don't like being in crowded places. Why? They're targets. They're targets. Anytime you have a gathering of a lot of people, it makes it an easier target. I mean, hell, look what happened in Germany, a couple weeks back. They had some nut job drive through the Christmas markets there. Same thing in France, when that guy several years back plowed through a whole bunch of people in France. They look for places that are highly populated because it creates more terror the more people that go after. For lack of better terms, the biggest bang for your buck, right? If you know you're going to get martyred or waxed, okay, cool. I'm going to go out with as much power as I can, or with as much, take as many people with me. So we stay away from crowded places. I hate going to crowded places. I don't go to places I can't carry a firearm. I just don't. So I have a way to defend myself. Again, that's something I can do, right? Now, if there's somebody who's blowing something up, hey, Roger, it is what it is, but at least I can put myself in a position where I know that for most situations and most circumstances, I'll be safe. Or at least have the ability to defend myself, or the ability to administer aid to others if they're hurt, right? I always have a first aid kit. I got one in my pocket right here. I've got another one back there, and we're not talking like, the little Band-Aid ones you get from, ye old box store. Real ones with tourniquets and chest seals, because if you're in a bad place, a Band-Aid's not going to fix a bullet hole. It just won't. But I have the ability to do it and the knowledge to do it. Some of the other things to look for is, don't be around political places, or places where there might be some type of a political, how do I put it? Like a political target. For example, the Trump Tower in Vegas that was targeted. Okay, got it. Don't hang around the Trump Tower. Did you notice it wasn't anything that went after, the Bellagio or Mandalay Bay or Excalibur, any of the places that are down on the Strip? No, they went after one specifically. All right. New Year's in Baton Rouge. Or not in Baton Rouge, in New Orleans. Yeah, everybody's going to be gathered in a certain area. It's not necessarily political, but for me, it makes a great target, specifically for somebody who is looking to inflict a lot of damage. A lot of people outside, targets of opportunity, right? I foresee, if there are issues coming along, if you live in the cities, get out, stay away, go to places where that are a little bit more rural, because it's less likely to be a target. I have been in some of the most densely populated cities this year, the biggest one being New York City, and talking to them specifically. I was working with their emergency operations center. I was kind of figuring out what they do, and I'll definitely be posting a video of some of the pamphlets that they had, because they had some pretty decent stuff to at least get people thinking about preparedness. But if something was to happen on one of the islands, so like again, I'm not giving these words power, nor am I trying to create a problem, but if something was to happen again, say around the World Trade Center, and they lock down that island, all right, there are anywhere between 8 and 11 million people, depending on the time of day, that rely on outside resources coming in. They have no other way of getting even fuel. Last I checked, I think when I was talking to them, they said they thought that there was one gas station on that whole island. And I don't want to screw it up. I think it was Long Island. I forget. I'm not from there. But there is one gas station. All the rest is over across the river, either in New Jersey or in one of the other islands of New York. So they have no way to get fuel. They have to rely on trucks and boats to get all of their food. That is a horrific idea. So what I'm saying is get to places where it makes sense for you to actually be able to protect your family, to provide for your family, to stock up. If you haven't been stocking up on food or water, do so. I mean, you don't even need to call the terrorist threat that's kind of going on now and what I foresee. I'm not prognosticating, I'm theorizing. But if things like this happen, there are going to be runs on the stores again. That's guns, that's ammo, that's medical stuff, that's food. But even if we take all of that out and you decide to go the route of, hey, there's a polar vortex coming, we're all going to freeze and da-da-da-da. Cool. Great excuse to go get some stuff to keep you warm. Great stuff to go excuse to go get some extra money or get some extra food, some blankets, some clothes, get a second way to cook, all that kind of stuff. Because both of those situations, if you're locked down because there's some terroristic asshat doing something bad, or if you're dealing with a polar vortex, guess what? A lot of that stuff is mutually beneficial. Like they're not, a firearm won't help you against the cold, right? But you know what will? Having food and water on hand, having medical supplies on hand, regardless if you're in a firefight or if you're in a polar vortex, being able to have the right clothing, the right footwear. Holy Jesus. That's one of the things I have to fight with my kids specifically. They have nice shoes, lace up boots, nice shoes that work. Unfortunately, at least one of them hates wearing shoes. They like flip-flops. You cannot run very fast in flip-flops. But, it's stuff like that. So, again, I'm not giving any of these words power. I hope to God I'm wrong. But just looking at it, today's the second, and we already have 2 of these events going on. I don't know about the military connection piece on it, but I foresee, unfortunately, a lot of it being, that becoming a thing again. So back when the Tea Party movement kicked off back in 2012, there was a whole, all these people are white supremacists or nationalists or whatever else, or they're Tea Partiers, that kind of stuff. So anybody who had patriotic tattoos had to get photographs of them. I have photographs in my permanent file from the patriotic tattoos because I love serving the country. At least that, because I'm a threat, right? But I foresee some of that coming back. So for my brothers and sisters in arms, again, God forbid, but I see somebody pushing for us to get looked at again because, it has to be, that has to be the connection. No, it's not. Not in my opinion. But just be prepared. Understand that this stuff happens. And unfortunately, it's happening more and more. And it's not just, for the United States. It's worldwide, right? So I brought up multiple examples where we've seen the same modus operandi transfer both times or multiple different places. So stay away from public places that are super public. Stay away from political places or politically charged events. Make sure that you have a way to defend yourself or your family or loved ones. Even if you're in a non-permissive environment like New York City or like London or like somewhere else, you can still have something. I was researching the laws out in Europe not too long ago, and you can still find self-defense stuff that's legal for you to carry. Is it as great as having, like my 9mm I have on my side right now? No, it's not. But you know what? I'll figure it out. Don't put myself in that event or in that area. And if it comes to me, well, then you do the best what you can where you're at and what you got. So make sure you have supplies that are mutually beneficial. So first aid kits that are real first aid kits are good, regardless if you have to have it for a shit hits the fan or if you have to have it because of one of these, God forbid, terrible events and you have to be in it. Make sure that you have correct clothing and footwear. It sounds crazy, but again, my kids don't like to wear shoes ever, but yet we have to buy them all the time because they keep growing. They have a habit of doing it, but having the right shoes on, don't wear flip-flops. Don't wear your pajamas to the store, which is horrific on its own accord, but offers you zero in protection of the elements or being beneficial for you to actually carry anything to help defend yourself or to keep yourself safe. So just to recap. Anyway, hope this finds you all well. Please like, subscribe, share. YouTube is absolutely censoring me. I've noticed I've been getting, it's bizarre. Every week it's 10 or 20 less people. It's always an even number of people are being taken off the subscriber list, which I think is absolute crap. So please help me in fighting against that, because I obviously want to get this information out, because hell, I've got almost 16 years of military service, plus God knows how many years of doing other things. I've been in some of the worst places, and I've been in some of the most challenging situations, and I really want this information to get out there and help others who haven't had to go through these experiences, so that way they can better prepare for the future. Anyway, stay safe out here.